This morning, we're breaking down the Janesville school referendums and how it can impact taxpayers.
Plus, a new proposal seeks to keep more teachers in Wisconsin, what educators need and hope to provide. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Wednesday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. You might want to check your calendar just to see that it is, October 30th. Because when you step outside, you're going to be like, wait a minute. What time of year is it?
Yeah. Even my sister, like down in Florida, like we've had similar temperatures to them for this time of year. So it's just like, this is kind of crazy to think about.
It is. Some warmer winds whipping around out there this morning. Kelly Slifka is in this morning for Savannah Brito, the first one forecast. Pretty gusty out there.
Yeah, it is gusty, but where are we? I mean, this is Madison. This is October 30th. You know, we're talking about temperatures near 70 this morning. And it's because we've had these southerly winds. It's going to be another windy day right now. They're up there close to 15 miles per hour, 15, 25. We could see some gusts, 30, 35 miles per hour throughout the day. That's what we got. We've got wind gusts right now up to 20 miles per hour in Madison, 25 in Janesville, 28 in Lone Rock. A lot of leaves blown around today, expecting temperatures to continue to climb. We have 69 right now in Madison. Still some clearing right now, but I expect clouds to fill in today, and also some showers and some thunderstorms rolling in. I think in Madison, our chances of rain will probably hold off until mainly after dark. Can't rule out a spotty shower this afternoon, but I think the severe weather threat mainly from Madison areas to the west, and it's pretty minimal, but that'll be coming in as we go through tonight. Right now, 70 in Madison, 68 in Middleton, Wanakee at 69, 68 in Mazo-Maney. Temperatures right now in the upper 60s will warm through the 70s, and the upper 70s today with those clouds filling in. It's going to be another windy day today. We'll talk more about that chance of showers and thunderstorms, and we'll time it out for you coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, talk then. Folks, you can stay on top of the changing conditions by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. Find it wherever you get your apps. Well, former President Donald Trump will make 2 appearances in Wisconsin over the next 2 days.
Today, he'll be in Green Bay at the Rush Center, joined by former Packer Brett Favre. The doors for that event open at 2 p.m. On Friday, Trump will be in Milwaukee to speak at Fiserv Forum. Both rallies are expected to focus on inflation and the economy.
Meantime, Vice President Kamala Harris will also be in Wisconsin this week. She's got a big rally planned for Madison today. On Friday, she is also set to appear in Milwaukee. The rally that was supposed to happen on the UW campus, the university tells us, has been moved off campus because of the chance of some rain and severe weather this evening. We don't have a location for tonight or an exact time, and we don't have a location or time for the next appearance happening on Friday. Last night, though, she gave her closing arguments at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. This marked her biggest rally ever, with an estimated 75,000 people in attendance.
Let me say, I recognize this has not been a typical campaign. Even though I've had the honor of serving as your vice president for the last 4 years, I know that many of you are still getting to know who I am. Well, let me tell you, I am someone who has spent most of my career outside of Washington, D.C., so I know that not all the good ideas come from here.
Harris held last night's rally near the same spot where former President Trump addressed his supporters on January 6th, 2021. Well, this year, nearly half of Wisconsin school districts are going to referendum to address funding. That includes the district in Janesville. They have a couple of questions on the ballot next Tuesday. One being a capital referendum. It's an extra $20.25 a month for the average homeowner. That's a total revenue cap of $151 million. It would address infrastructure needs and enhance security. It's just one phase of a nearly $600 million capital needs project.
We're looking at upgrading our plumbing, electrical, heating, very specifically in our elementary, middle, and high schools, special education upgrades.
So the district would complete these projects and then talk with residents on what they would like to prioritize. Then they'll figure out the cost. The second question on the ballot on Tuesday will ask for $14.5 million. That's for a 2-year operational referendum. It replaces the one passed in 2020. So that would essentially continue, and residents would not see any estimated property tax increase.
A new proposal looks to invest millions of dollars to retain teachers in Wisconsin. Data shows about 39% of teachers leave the state or profession altogether in their first 6 years. The state's Department of Public Instruction says it needs about $60 million to recruit and retain teachers. They would provide student teachers with a $10,000 stipend, expand a peer review and mentoring grant program with more than $7 million, and work to eliminate barriers to educator licensing.
I think the reason a lot of people leave this profession is not just because of the funding and the underfunding or the lack of physical support, but just the lack of emotional support.
Many local and statewide representatives' concerns center around investing in special education, diversifying staff, and continual support for educators.
In other news this morning, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today we're bringing attention to the disparities between black and white women with breast cancer. Our Michelle Renee Quinn spoke with the manager of the Milwaukee Health Department's Breast and Cervical Cancer Awareness Program. She says there are multiple barriers black women face when it comes to breast cancer.
Breast cancer is the leading cancer death for black women in comparison to white women, and that percentage is 40% higher than in white women.
Black women get diagnosed at younger ages than white women with later stages and more aggressive forms of breast cancer. In our next half hour, our Michelle Renee Quinn will talk about how you can be proactive when it comes to breast cancer. In the meantime, you can visit this story at channel3000.com for some local resources.
6:06, this Sunday marks the end of daylight saving time. That means clocks fall back an hour and an extra hour of sleep. For parents, though, it can be tricky since it can impact children's sleep schedules and routines. But with a little extra planning a few days in advance, the time change can cause less of a headache.
So it's a thing we call bedtime fading. You can start, roughly 4 days ahead of time and go to bed 15 minutes later and try to get up 15 minutes later, then 30, then 45 minutes in preparation then for an hour shifting back. And then they're still on the same time after daylight savings happens.
Doctors say parents can use a small dose of melatonin around 30 minutes before bedtime to help with the transition.
Oh, it's the waking up that gets me. Because it's an hour early.
Yeah, it's going to be a transition.
Oh, yeah. So, Halloween's tomorrow, and folks that live in Madison, Verona, and Fitchburg are going to get out and trick-or-treat tomorrow afternoon. Tonight, though, downtown Madison is hosting Downtown Madison Family Halloween. That event runs from 3 to 6 on State Street and the Capitol Square. Question, though, is will that rain hold off long enough for the kiddos to get their trick-or-treating in tonight?
Well, this evening, I think, actually looks to be okay. Can't rule out a spotty shower. So it's going to be mild. It's tomorrow evening where you're going to need to bundle up because, it's going to be turning much colder as this cold front arrives. So we do have some rain in our forecast tonight. Some of these storms that roll on through do have the potential of producing some strong storms. We'll have more on that coming up in the first morning forecast.
Plus, do something good. See why a local woman goes all out for Halloween at the office every year.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning, brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
He did it. It was pretty devastating.
He is bragging about the rights that he stole from American women. And Trump is promising to do more. In Project 2025.
They are restricting birth control,
tracking pregnant women, enforcing a nationwide abortion ban. The government should get out of my business.
Stay out of my business.
That's not the government's business.
In America, women make their own decisions.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare,
It's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am a strong believer in pro-life. I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde supports abortion bans. Republican extremists in the Senate already want to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. They want more anti-abortion judges. And to even make birth control and IVF illegal.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
We can't trust Eric Hovde.
I, Kamala J.B. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda, higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open border policies, and their weakness invited wars. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower, and the border secure. But Kamala wants to double down on failure. Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
All right, good morning, meteorologist Kelly Slifka out on the very mild October 30th. I can't believe Halloween is tomorrow, but we're talking about temperatures near 70 already this morning. We still have some winds. Right now it doesn't sound too bad, but we'll get some gusts out here this morning. It's going to be another windy day, and that wind's coming out of the south. And that's what's keeping our temperatures upper 60s and 70s. But you can see the contrast. Minneapolis last hour was 74. Now they're down to 65. You see how quickly that temperature drops off in the 40s. That cooler air is not getting here, not even tomorrow morning, but it's going to be more likely tomorrow afternoon. So it's going to be kind of a slow process to bring in that colder air, but that's what we are expecting going into tomorrow. And there's that cold front. We've got some rain on the back side of the front. We've got that warm air out ahead of it, and that's what's bringing us to mild temperatures this morning. But with the clash of air masses, we do have a first warn alert day today because some stronger storms will develop to our south and west. A couple of these may have the potential of producing some large hail and damaging winds. We're not expecting widespread severe weather. That'll be mainly Madison areas to the west, and that'll be mainly coming in this evening. Just a marginal risk of severe weather. That's the lowest on a scale of 1 to 5. The cutoff is just east of Dane County. 77 expected today. Our record is 78. Our average is 53. Yesterday we hit 82. We actually tied the record for the day. Gusty winds, though, we've got these winds that'll be up there, gusting up there 30, 35 miles per hour at times throughout the afternoon hours. That'll even continue tonight. Once again, we've got more winds expected tonight. Temperatures, though, today in the upper 70s. You notice on our future track, maybe a couple of showers, mainly to the west of Madison, it looks like, for the afternoon hours. Then you see that broad area of rain shift from La Crosse, headed into western parts of the state, headed toward Madison, probably not till closer to 9 o'clock, and that's when we could see some heavier downpours. The trend is that most of this rain is going to weaken as it moves on to the east, but all of us have some much needed rain. Then tomorrow morning, can't rule out some showers for the morning for our Halloween, but Most of the day should be dry, but then we start to see these temperatures drop from the low 60s in the morning, falling through the 50s, and then trick-or-treating hours probably in the 40s. So it's going to be quite a bit cooler. Much needed rain, obviously, across all of Wisconsin. About an inch in Madison, talking about 1 to 3 inches areas to the west. 69 right now in Madison, 72 in Lone Rock, 71 in the Dells, 70 in Janesville. Up to 77 today with some of those showers and storms, mainly this evening for Madison, a little bit sooner to the west. Some lingering showers tomorrow morning, but don't let that 60 fool you, because that's going to be in the morning. Those temperatures will drop into the upper 40s by trick-or-treating hours, then kind of cool going in the weekend with more rain expected by Sunday into early next week.
All right, Kelly, tracking it for us. A lot of changes coming. Thank you. Well, it's spooky season and a reason to celebrate for a lot of folks at home. But one office in Madison goes all out for the occasion.
That's right. Josh Spider shares how a local woman is doing something good for Halloween. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So as spooky season comes to a close this week, I had a chance to meet one woman who's not only keeping the workplace clean, but making people smile. In a story you'll see only on News 3 Now, see how she is doing something good.
You pop off the elevator a couple weeks before Halloween, and it's done.
This isn't your typical haunted house.
It's pretty impressive.
It's actually an office building in downtown Madison.
Don't ask me where I keep it, okay? I might get fired.
Meet Juanita.
I love it. It makes me feel good.
Not only does she keep the offices of Merrill Lynch clean, Juanita goes all out for Halloween. What started in just one room around 14 years ago now winds the hallways, beginning right at the elevator. So many decorations, she needs a helping hand to make it happen.
And I got a friend of mine to help me because it was too much. So then I told my friend, can we decorate all this area before somebody else asks us to do it? She says, let's go for it.
Leading up to Halloween, family members and clients of Merrill Lynch get a chance to see it for themselves, giving kids and their parents some enjoyment.
I got 3 young boys who grew up coming through. They're in high school and middle school now, and they still talk about it. My favorite part, my kid's favorite part, is Wolfman in the back hallway. My kids came through the other day, and they're like, all right, where is he? You know, where does she got him this year?
Juanita says while she likes it to be spooky, she tries hard not to bring the scaredy cats out of people.
One year, I think they brought like 30 kids, and they were crying. I thought, no, I don't want to make them cry.
Doing something good and spreading positive energy in the workplace.
She keeps our office running. I have one plant in my office. The only reason it's alive is because of Juanita. And then everything she does here with all the decorations and end of year holiday, it's really special.
And sharing smiles.
I think that's what makes me happy. If one person can say thank you, or I loved it, I like it, that's all that matters to me.
A reason to smile on this day before Halloween.
It gave me a reason to smile this morning. She just seems so sweet.
Yeah, she's been doing it for 14 years. And I asked her, I was like, so are you going to do this forever? And she's like, no. It's too much work, but she enjoys doing it for now and just enjoys, like she said, that one simple thank you. That's all it takes. Isn't that amazing?
Do they keep it up like the whole month of October?
So it kind of like starts building as you get closer to Halloween, but it's a lot of work for her.
Yeah,
you know, she said it takes like 3 or 4 hours to make it happen with that helping hand, as you saw.
Yes.
Pretty cool. Josh, thanks for sharing the story with us.
Wisconsin women's hockey is off to an undefeated start, and a big part of their success this season has been the play of Layla Edwards. In 10 games, she scored 10 goals, which is a team high, while also tallying 8 assists. And in last week's series against Bemidji State, Edwards became the 33rd player in program history to reach the 100-point club, a milestone she credits to her teammates.
I was looking down the bench, like, I've been alongside some really good players that have made this possible. So, yeah, just super thankful. It's an individual thing. So it doesn't mean too much to me, but I think it's really cool. And it shows, like I said, I'm playing with some of the best players in North America.
Her ceiling is whatever she wants it to be. And, she's continued to work. She's going to get more opportunities. And so I think her confidence is in good space.
Halfway through their Big Ten schedule, Wisconsin sits 9-1 in conference play, 1 game behind Nebraska, who comes to the Fieldhouse on Friday night. The Badgers have had the Huskers number. They've won 11 of the last 12 meetings, including the national championship game in 2021. This year's meeting isn't at that level, but it will go a long way to deciding who wins a Big Ten championship when it's all said and done.
trying to win a Big Ten title, and you certainly don't want to fall 2 games behind with 9 to go. That's going to be pretty hairy thing to come back from. And so, not only will we learn a little bit more about ourselves, but you know, you're playing one of the top teams in the country, and the Big Ten title goes through them.
Wisconsin hosting UW-Stevens Point in their lone tune-up before their season opener. Jovana Spazovski making plays in her Badger debut. The freshman from Serbia takes it to the cup for 2+1. She finished with 11 points. Then later, Ronnie Porter was doing Ronnie Porter things. The steal and then the dine and dash. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 assists from her. 4 Badgers finished in double figures in the 72-41 win. The real season begins next Tuesday against Wright State. And that's it for Morning Sports. Have a great day.
Still ahead, changes at the grocery store. Which chain is adjusting the checkout process?
Coming up in our next half hour, how campaigns are keeping up with changing times.
And as we head to break, here's a look at gas prices this morning. Time now 6:20. We'll be right back.
The impacts of our growing immigrant population tonight at 10.
During COVID, Joan Balwig took $500,000 in federal loans she never paid back. Then voted to block assistance to help other Wisconsin businesses grow. Joan Balwig, out for herself, not you.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda, higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open border policies, and their weakness invited wars. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower, and the border secure. But Kamala wants to double down on failure. Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde, still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
The right to vote is the foundation of democracy. For decades, we have been forced to fight voter suppression to increase voter turnout in the black community, while overcoming barriers designed to undermine voter participation. The NAACP of Wisconsin believes your vote matters, and we urge you to double-check your voter information at myvotewisconsin.gov. In-person absentee voting begins Tuesday, October 22nd. Now let's be all in to vote on November 5.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde owns a $3 billion California bank. That's right, he owns it.
And a $7 million mansion on the beach.
Eric Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax breaks for rich guys just like him.
And to pay for it, Hovde would cut Social Security by 28%.
Slash Medicare 25%.
And veterans benefits 40%.
Outrageous. Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. This guy is not for us.
This is China, and this is Wisconsin. Joan Balwig invested thousands of dollars in Chinese companies, but voted against using state funds to help grow companies here in Wisconsin. Joan Balwig, out for herself, not you.
It is 6:23 on your Wednesday. This photo is from Carmelita. These are some fall leaves she found.
Ooh, that's pretty.
All the
Gorgeous.
arrangement
Nice
here.
little bouquet there.
Leaves are gone now. Well, there's not much left.
There's some hanging on.
Wind's just Yeah.
I was watching someone rake yesterday the leaves. I'm like going, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Why?
So I was using the wind to the advantage yesterday. I was blowing the leaves in the backyard and like
right into the neighbor's yard.
Pretty much so. Yeah. But that house hasn't sold yet, so sorry to the.
You really were. Okay, well that's okay. I thought there were people that lived there.
No,
so that's
they don't live there yet.
What do they need? They need like a big net or something that catches all the leaves that you blow. You know. Around.
Oh yeah.
Give like a big. Like a soccer goal or something you can blow them all into.
Let's invent that, and then we don't have to work anymore.
Hey.
I'm sure it's already out there.
It's a simple
Probably is.
All right, well, trending this morning, it's Halloween Eve, so we're talking about National Candy Corn Day. I like candy corn.
I do not.
Don't judge.
I told him
it's it's tried and true. It's been around since the 1880s, and it's still hanging around. Candy corn's creator, George Renninger, initially made candy corn to look like corn kernels. Back then, the candy corn's colors were the traditional yellow, orange, and white. It's evolved over the years. I like it when they add it to like desserts and other treats this time of year. Put it on top of some cupcakes or something. Those are nice.
I think it's okay if you put like peanuts, maybe some M&Ms in there. Like you can do this whole like
mix.
Salty and sweet. Yeah, nice.
Do you ever do that where you bite off that little white tip at the top?
No,
and you like...
only sociopaths do that.
Okay.
I will say that when I do eat it, I do have to eat it in sections.
There you go. We're both psycho.
I mean, it's an acquired taste, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
It's just not something I can just eat.
I like the texture. It's just like
just gritty.
You like the texture. See, I think a lot of people don't like the texture. That's interesting.
All right, chewy but not gummy. Hy-Vee is moving away from self-checkouts. The company says some of its stores have eliminated self-checkout lines, while others have converted to those self-checkouts to express lines. The company spokesperson said Hy-Vee is trying to provide a better customer experience here. We've seen Target and Walmart doing similar things. I don't know, you guys sad to see the self-checkouts start to go away?
I do too.
I love a good self-checkout.
Yeah. I just want to do it, and don't want a judgy, checker, like saying, hey, what are you getting Doritos at 8 o'clock in the morning for? I mean, come on.
And I need my bags, bagged off a particular way. And that's just...
Yeah.
My
I just like to
frozen's,
get
my
in and get out.
That too.
Sometimes I don't want to deal with people.
I like to have nice, long conversations with my checkout people.
Are you serious?
Chat them up.
I got a job for you.
Okay. All right, big changes in the forecast, Kelly.
Yeah, today we've got the windy, warm conditions, temperatures in the upper 70s, some showers and storms a little bit later on today. We'll have more coming up right after.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde owns a $3 billion California bank. That's right, he owns it.
And a $7 million mansion on the beach.
Eric Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax breaks for rich guys just like him.
And to pay for it, Hovde would cut Social Security by 28%.
Slash Medicare 25%.
And veterans benefits 40%.
Outrageous. Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. This guy is not for us.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Crappie, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Crappie want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Crappie get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Shop the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. Lease a new Silverado 1500 starting at $355 a month, or a 24 Equinox EV starting at $299 a month. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromMadison.com.
It's no secret, Robertson is Wisconsin's aesthetic leader, but with results this natural, patients can keep it a secret if they want. Our secret to reducing stubborn body fat, Cool Sculpting Elite, the newest technology available. Book a free consultation to learn how Cool Sculpting is different at Robertson.
Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, to cut Social Security and Medicare, to impose what is in effect a national sales tax. When I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries. My tax plan will give 100 million more Americans a tax cut. And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Right now, two former Democratic presidential candidates campaign for former President Trump in Madison, how they're aiming to reach undecided voters.
Plus, non-traditional campaigning. The new WISC candidates are reaching younger voters.
Good morning, everyone. 6:30 here on October 30th. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Adley. Thanks for waking up with us. You said it right. October 30th, and it's feeling a lot like it did back in like June.
Right. You know, it's what, middle of August here?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like outside this morning. So the winds and the warm weather, though, we knew it wasn't going to last. We've got some big changes coming up in the forecast. And Kelly Slifka is in this morning for Savannah, tracking it all for us. Hey there.
You know, October the last several years has been like this. We've had these really warm stretches, then we get a pretty good shock. And that's what's going to be coming our way over the next couple of days, that's for sure. Mild starts in the morning. I don't know if you even really need much of a jacket. 69 with a south wind at 14. We do have some clearing right now, but we are expecting the clouds to fill on in and eventually leading to some showers a little bit later on today. Winds are out of the south up there around 14 miles per hour here in Madison. Janesville at 17. Those are sustained, but some of these gusts getting close to 30 miles per hour. And these will be fairly gusty throughout the day. Could be up there at 35 miles per hour. All right, we have a front that's going to be moving in later tonight. That'll bring in some showers and some thunderstorms. Some of these storms that roll in out of Iowa do have the potential of producing large hail and some damaging winds. Mainly areas west of Madison. I think a lot of these will weaken as they head toward the Madison area, and that will be mainly this evening. Right now, 70 in Madison, 69 in Wanakee, 70 in Sun Prairie, 69 in Deerfield. So very mild starts of the day, and these temperatures will just continue to climb as those clouds fill in. Another windy day. These winds are out of the south. Tomorrow, those winds will switch around to the northwest. That'll bring us some much cooler weather as we head for Halloween, the trick-or-treaters. We'll talk more about those temperatures coming up.
All right, folks, you can track all those changes and the alert day conditions by downloading the free First Warn weather apps. Download it wherever you get yours. Now to our 3 for the People coverage. 6 days out from the election. Now, presidential candidates are targeting undecided voters in our area.
Former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard and former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. visited Madison. They campaigned on behalf of former President Donald Trump yesterday. RFK Jr.'s appearance comes as the Supreme Court rejected 2 separate bids to have his name removed from the presidential ballots in Wisconsin and Michigan. Both RFK Jr. and Gabbard were Democratic candidates in the last 2 presidential races, but now they're both backing the Republican nominee. They discussed issues such as foreign conflicts along with transgender women competing in women's sports.
She has pocketed and touted proudly the endorsements by Dick Cheney and by John Bolton. These are the people who gave us the Iraq War, the worst foreign policy catastrophe in the history of mankind, of our country.
Not a single Democrat in the House or the Senate in Washington, D.C., had the courage to stand with women and girls in voting for legislation called the Protect Women and Girls in Sports Act, which simply upheld the original intent of Title IX. Head down on the pillow.
Dane County is expected to overwhelmingly support Vice President Harris. However, both candidates will look to turn out as many voters from the county as possible.
Vice President Harris will be in Madison today. We are still waiting to hear where that big rally is going to be. UW had been working with the campaign to have an outdoor concert today, but a university spokesperson tells us that the campaign is moving the event off campus because of the risk of severe weather. Harris is also set to return to the state on Friday. The campaign has not announced a time or location for that visit as well. Harris's team, though, has called her final days on the campaign trail extremely aggressive.
The changing times mean campaigns are changing how they reach voters. While the yard signs and door knocking have not gone away, campaigns are turning to new media. This year, we've seen Harris and Trump appear on podcasts. That medium reaches a high percentage of young people. The Pew Research Center found nearly half of podcast listeners aged 18 to 29 listen to a podcast a few times a week. Campaigns have also reached voters through video games like Fortnite and Madden. Here's one UW-Madison student's view on these tactics.
I think it's definitely made their campaigns more visible to especially like people our age. I do think it's like a smart tactic. As a history major, I feel like I look at like a bunch of old elections from the past, and I feel like obviously with evolving times, it's important to like stay with it.
Both campaigns have said they use social media to reach voters as well.
In other news this morning, enrollment at University of Wisconsin's branch campuses is down more than 1,000 students. That's compared to this time last year. The system released new semester enrollment numbers this week, showing a 22% drop for branch campuses. That comes as 6 satellite campuses are closed now or will close next year. Experts say these numbers hurt the economies of the communities that these branch campuses are in. They say that these areas are also at risk of losing their talent pipelines. UW President Jay Rothman blames the lack of state funding for public education. Last year, the Wisconsin Policy Forum ranked Wisconsin 43rd out of 50 states for per student funding.
City of Madison leaders are hoping to cut down on crashes on John Nolan Drive. In the past decade, more than 50 crashes between North Shore Drive and Broome Street have caused injuries. Officials say the new construction aims to make the area safer for cars, cyclists, and pedestrians. The city's engineering division hopes to add separation to give everyone more room.
Is at the intersections, we took a very long look at what would be the best mix of safety and traffic flow and kind of the coordination there. It's not part of the project per se, but we had our consultants look into a feasibility study for a potential underpass or overpass in that area.
The feasibility study found an underpass could double the project cost. The city has taken that option off the table, at least for now.
6:36 now. If you have an infant, listen up. You want to check your cabinets for Dynarex baby powder. It looks like this. Dynarex is expanding its baby powder recall by hundreds more cases. The company says the substance may be contaminated with asbestos. The expansion affects Dynacare baby powder 14-ounce and 4-ounce sizes. Asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral known to cause cancer and other health issues. No reports of any illnesses so far from the baby powder, but customers should still throw away the recalled items or return them.
Prices for beef are on the rise at grocery stores, and a cattle shortage is partly to blame. It's causing an increase in demand. Many customers are turning to meat markets to buy in bulk at a cheaper rate, and some businesses are struggling to keep up. Some customers at one meat market in Merrill are having to wait on their orders until January.
Our customers normally would bring in 10 or 15 beef for harvest. They are only bringing in 7 or 8. If you want hamburger or burgers or patty, hot dogs, any of that kind of stuff, we have all that in the store. It's just if you're looking for a side of beef right now.
Producers and sellers warn that it takes some time to replenish herds, so prices might not return to normal for a while.
6:37 coming up after the break. Some new stats on breast cancer rates in Wisconsin and how to protect yourself from the condition.
Another mild start to the morning with temperatures well into the 60s to low 70s, but there is some colder air off to the west. We'll track that cold front coming up.
Plus, do something good. See why a local woman goes all out for Halloween every year at the office.
Donald Trump has always wanted unchecked power.
I have the right to do whatever I want as president.
And with Project 2025, he'll get it. No guardrails. This time, he will eliminate protections for pre-existing conditions, and he'll cut Social Security and Medicare to give more tax cuts to billionaires. Donald Trump is more unhinged and unstable than ever. If we give him total power, he'll put everything at risk.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
We all know what Eric Hovde's trying to do, falsely attacking Tammy Baldwin by questioning her personal life. And Eric Hovde's trying to scare you. The truth is, no sex change surgeries take place on minors in Wisconsin. 0. And Baldwin didn't give funding to a transgender clinic. It's actually a youth homeless shelter. Eric Hovde's a billionaire banker who thinks he can lie about anything, but Wisconsin's better than Eric Hovde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda, higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open border policies, and their weakness invited wars. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower, and the border secure. But Kamala wants to double down on failure. Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Fields Volvo Cars Madison has the Volvo you want in stock and ready to drive home today. So stop by Fields Volvo Cars Madison and take a test drive.
Plus, you'll be part of Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and gourmet coffee service.
And right now is a great time to get an offer like this.
Get 3.99% APR financing for up to 72 months on 2024 and 2025 Volvo XC40, XC60, and XC90 models at Fields Volvo Cars Madison. Go to volvocarsmadison.com.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back here at 6:41. Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming to a close, and we have some stats this morning you may not be familiar with.
Michelle Renee Quinn spoke to experts and is here to tell us about the disparities between black and white women when it comes to breast cancer. Good morning.
Good morning. The National Breast Cancer Foundation says that 1 in 8 women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Outside of skin cancer, breast cancer is the most common cancer in American women and more common in women of color. The breast cancer mortality rate for white women in Wisconsin has been steadily decreasing since 1995. However, the mortality rates for black women in Wisconsin has held roughly steady for the last 25 years. The manager of the Milwaukee Health Department's Breast and Cervical Cancer Awareness Program says it is the leading cancer death for black women at 40% higher than in white women.
Black women get diagnosed at younger age than white women do. However, what we see is that insurances generally do not cover mammograms until the age of 40. So that is definitely a barrier. We also see that Black women are diagnosed at later stages of breast cancer, as well as being diagnosed with more aggressive forms of breast cancer.
She recommends monthly self-exams around the same time of the month. That's to account for hormonal changes.
Just pay attention to your breasts. When you're in the shower, when you're putting on lotion, you want to know what your breasts look and feel like. Do you notice a lump, any redness, swelling, changes in size, crusting, discharge, skin dimpling, inversions? And if you do happen to notice any of those things, get it checked out, and schedule an appointment with a primary care provider.
Programs like Wisconsin Well Woman offers resources for eligible women to navigate free breast and cervical exams. And for additional local resources, you can visit this story at channel3000.com.
And what kind of resources are out there?
Well, if people are looking for one-on-one support, they have mentors that they can match you up with. And there's also advocacy groups and other things for people depending on what they're interested in.
All right, Michelle Renee, some important information this morning. Yes. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Absolutely.
Let's switch gears here. Let's check in now with meteorologist Kelly Slifko's out on the patio. How's it feeling?
Feeling like August, maybe July. I don't know. It's definitely not feeling like October 30th, just a day before Halloween. But yeah, we've got some changes coming our way. We've got a cold front that's off to our west. We have that southerly wind out ahead of it, and that's what's bringing us some mild temperatures. We've had some clearing, but I expect more cloud cover today. That cold front means business, and that will bring us some rain later on this evening and also some stronger storms. We do have a first warn alert day. Potential some stronger storms rolling into southwestern Wisconsin. Once again, this is going to be mainly from Madison areas to the west, and that'll be mainly coming in tonight. I think the main threats are going to be some large hail and damaging winds, and this is going to be isolated. This is not going to be a widespread severe weather event, but especially areas to the west of Madison. We haven't had to deal with severe weather recently because it's been so dry, but the chance of rain will ramp up. May see a shower here and there this afternoon, but better chances coming in, let's say 8, 9, 10 o'clock up toward the midnight hour. Some rain moving through as well, and still some rain tomorrow morning. But as we get into the daylight hours tomorrow, I think most of that rain is done with, but it's going to be turning much cooler. We do have some gusts. Wind gusts out of the south. They'll be up there 30, 35 miles per hour at times this afternoon, so it's going to be another windy day, and it's coming in out of the south. That's what's bringing us these near record temperatures. So a lot more cloud cover today than what we had yesterday, but that's not going to prevent us from rising into the upper 70s. You notice this broad area of rain here at 6 o'clock, moving through the Cooley region, starting to move toward Boscobel, moving toward Lone Rock as we get toward 7, 8 o'clock. Toward Madison about 9 o'clock, down toward Platteville, eventually headed over toward Watertown, Juneau, and Janesville as we get toward the midnight hour. So everything's kind of sliding on through. It will weaken as it moves through. And then tomorrow morning, may see a few showers tomorrow morning. Noticing our temperatures in the morning hours are in the lower 60s, but they actually fall as some colder air wraps in. And yes, that blue shading you see in Minnesota and western Wisconsin is actually some snow. That's just how cold that air is going to be. That's going to stay to our north, but noticing our temperatures do fall through the 50s and the upper 40s just in time for trick-or-treating hours. Good news is that we are expecting some much-needed rain, about an inch here in Madison. Some areas to the west could be talking about 1 to 3 inches, a little bit lesser amounts to the east. 71 in the Dalles, 69 in Madison right now, 70 in Janesville, 68 in Watertown and across Dane County. Everybody flirting with 70 already this morning. Should get up to 77. Showers and storms, maybe a shower here this afternoon. Better chances tonight. A lingering shower tomorrow morning. That high of 60 is in the morning. Temperatures will fall through the 50s into the upper 40s throughout the afternoon. Kind of cool on Friday, but at least some sun. We're back to more clouds this weekend, and chances of rain start to ramp up Sunday going into early next week.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Well, Halloween is a reason to celebrate for a lot of people at home, but one office in Madison goes all out for the occasion.
Just wait until you see it. Josh Sprider shares how a local woman is doing something good for spooky season. Hey there, Josh.
Hey, guys. Good morning. As spooky season comes to a close this week, I had a chance to meet one woman who's not only keeping the workplace clean, but making people smile. In the story you'll see only on News 3 Now, see how she is doing something good.
You pop off the elevator a couple weeks before Halloween, and it's done.
This isn't your typical haunted house.
It's pretty impressive.
It's actually an office building in downtown Madison.
Don't ask me where I keep it, okay? I might get fired.
Meet Juanita.
I love it. It makes me feel good.
Not only does she keep the offices of Merrill Lynch clean, Juanita goes all out for Halloween. What started in just one room around 14 years ago now winds the hallways beginning right at the elevator. So many decorations, she needs a helping hand to make it happen.
And I got a friend of mine to help me because it was too much. So then I told my friend, can we decorate all this area before somebody else asks us to do it? She says, let's go for it.
Leading up to Halloween, family members and clients of Merrill Lynch get a chance to see it for themselves, giving kids and their parents some enjoyment.
I got 3 young boys who grew up coming through. They're in high school and middle school now, and they still talk about it. My favorite part, my kid's favorite part, is Wolfman in the back hallway. My kids came through the other day, and they're like, all right, where is he? You know, where does she got him this year?
Juanita says while she likes it to be spooky, she tries hard not to bring the scaredy cats out of people.
One year, I think they brought like 30 kids, and they were crying. I thought, no, I don't want to make them cry.
Doing something good and spreading positive energy in the workplace.
She keeps our office running. I have one plant in my office. The only reason it's alive is because of Juanita. And then everything she does here with all the decorations and end of year holiday, it's really special.
And sharing smiles.
I think that's what makes me happy. If one person can say thank you, or I loved it, I like it, that's all that matters to me.
A reason to smile this spooky season. Isn't it amazing how one person can make such a positive impact on a whole building?
Yes, and for generations.
Seriously.
He said that his kids grew up seeing it. So.
And it's something they're always going to remember, too, and they still do to this day.
Yes.
Something special there.
Yes.
Thanks for showcasing it for us.
You bet.
All right. Coming up in the morning sprint, we have some new stats on impulse shopping.
But first, look who's turning 3 today. Happy birthday to John. If you have a little one turning 3 soon, send in those pictures to us. We'll share it on TV. Happy birthday.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
The other side is lying to scare you. Truth is, Joan Ballweg is a champion for women's health care. She fought hard to expand healthcare access for postpartum moms and supports access for IVF and birth control. We're voting for Joan Ballweg because she votes for women like us.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
When I was 27, I was diagnosed with MS. That's life-altering news. I had to prioritize my health and start taking medication. Back then, these cost $6,000 a year. Now the generics cost 5 times that. Senator Baldwin claims she's fighting to lower drug prices, but she's taking millions from Big Pharma and works for them. I'm not taking their money. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'll fight the corruption and lower drug prices because I've lived it.
I'm a steel worker. I grew up right here on a little family farm. Trump was here campaigning with Elon Musk. Now there's a prime example of who he keeps close. Donald Trump cares about his billionaire friends. He's just going to turn around and give them more tax breaks. But Kamala Harris is fighting for the working class. She'll make billionaires pay their fair share. That way working people get a fair shot. Elon Musk is voting for his money, and I'm voting for mine. And I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is Home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Wisconsin Vision. See more life.
6:53, time for the morning sprint.
Former President Donald Trump will make 2 appearances in Wisconsin this week. Today he'll be in Green Bay, joined by former Packer Brett Favre. On Friday, Trump will be in Milwaukee to speak at the Fiserv Forum. That's the same location as the Republican National Convention 3 months ago. Both rallies are expected to focus on inflation.
Vice President Kamala Harris will also make 2 stops in the state this week. Today, she's going to speak in Madison. The rally was originally planned to be on the UW campus, but because of the weather risk this evening, the campaign has moved that to an off-campus location yet to be announced. Harris is also set to return on Friday. Campaign has not announced a time or location for that visit.
President Joe Biden is trying to walk back comments to a Hispanic advocacy group. He referred to supporters of former President Donald Trump as garbage. That's the same term comedian Tony Hinchcliffe used at a Trump rally on Sunday. Hinchcliffe referred to Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. President Biden says he meant to say the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico is garbage.
Longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon is out of prison. He had served a 4-month prison sentence for defying a congressional subpoena. It regarded the congressional investigation into the January 6th insurrection. Since his release, Bannon has appeared on his podcast, and also he says that he has spoken to the former president.
A new report shows a drop in job openings down to pre-pandemic levels. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimated 7.4 million unfilled jobs at the end of September. That's down 400,000 positions from August. The number of job openings fell below economists' expectations of 7.9 million. Data shows workers still remain in demand.
Impulse shopping is rampant across the country. A survey from Bankrate found that about half of U.S. adults made an impulse buy last holiday season. Younger adult shoppers more likely to make impulse buys than older Americans. The top reason? A great deal. The National Retail Federation predicts a record holiday shopping season this year. Spending could top $975 billion.
If you have an infant or even for yourself, check your cabinets for Dinorex baby powder. They're expanding their baby powder recall by hundreds more cases. The company says the substance may be contaminated with asbestos. The expansion affects Dynacare baby powder, 14-ounce and 4-ounce sizes. There are no reports of illnesses so far. Customers should throw away the recalled items or return them.
Meteorologist Kelly Slifka coming up on 7 o'clock. I think most of today during the afternoon hours should be dry, but can't rule out a spotty shower here at 2:30. Most of this to the west of Madison, but as we get into the evening hours, watch this line of showers and storms roll on through. Heavy downpours and maybe some stronger storms, especially west of Madison. That's why we have the first warning alert day. As we get up to 77, it's going to be another windy day. High tomorrow is 60 in the morning, but temperatures falling throughout the afternoon and more wet weather expected going into next week.
All right, those warm temperatures disappearing.
Yeah, well, it's going to be November.
Yes, that's right, Kelly.